This weekend, it's kind of two different buckets. It's winning a crown jewel race, and as you said, putting your name on a list, and having an accomplishment that you'll never forget, that you'll always hang on to. And then this other bucket of, oh yeah, 5 races to the playoffs. The competition is intense. 4 spots remain. The battle at the bubble is remarkable. This is big in so many ways this weekend.
Every year since 2020, we had a winner at this point in the season or later to get themselves into the playoffs from below the cut line. And so that makes a lot of these drivers right there at that cut line extremely nervous. And I'm kind of looking at Alex Bowman over the last couple of weeks, trying to gap himself a little bit from Chris Buescher and trying to, because he knows that opportunity for someone to win below the cut line and launch themselves into the playoffs is a real deal. It's happened over the last several years. So very compelling storyline for me. It's something that I pay attention to as a fan throughout the race as to how these guys are doing and what the end result is after this weekend and going forward.
What I love about it is the names from about 20th in points on up. In February, when they unloaded, they all thought the playoffs was their goal. That was, the expectation was the playoffs, which is what makes, falling short or making it seem even bigger. And to your point, we always find a new winner. Well, if you take another look at this point a year ago, we had 3 names above the cut line that ended up not making it. So that last little run of the summer, right, those last 4 or 5 races between new winners and falling out in points and that cut line moving, there were guys that we, or me specifically, I just had them in the playoffs. They were moving forward. And then come the first race of the playoffs, they didn't have that banner on the windshield. They weren't part of the game.
Yeah, there's a lot. Like to his point, there's some names that started this season thinking that they were absolutely going to make the playoffs, right? And when you get to this part of the season, Steve, and you're well below that line and you know it's a must-win scenario, the desperation cranks up. And we saw a lot of desperation in this race last year. A lot of crashes on restarts with guys making moves they traditionally would not make. Now, this is one of those racetracks where, dive bombing into a corner underneath the guy, that's against code. We don't do that anywhere. But it's so difficult to pass here. When you get that run, you have to consider it. You have to consider it because it's the only way to really make up that track position you need. And it presents some pretty challenging situations and gets a lot of guys in trouble. So it's that point in the year. We're at a desperate situation for a lot of drivers and at a racetrack that could provide a lot of fireworks.
Yeah, and we talk about drivers in desperation. One driver not desperate at all, the man that won last week at Dover. 4 victories this year for Denny Hamlin. But if he wins on Sunday, Marty Snyder, it would be his first in the Brickyard 400.
And that's an important thing for Denny Hamlin. The one crown jewel he doesn't have is the Brickyard 400. Congratulations again on Dover last week. But I'm sure when a crown jewel's on the line, the attention shifts quickly, doesn't it? Where would you rank this in terms of races that you want to check off before it's all over?
Yeah, I mean, it certainly would complete a, resume of majors, and certainly I'd like to get a few more of those before my career is over with, and this being a really legit part of that. And so, big race here. Certainly being part of the oval makes it a little more special as well. It probably arguably was as close on the road course that I was on the oval here at this track. So. Just had so many close calls over the years and just never been able to get to the checkered first. And so certainly would love to do that this weekend.
I would argue you maybe had the best car in this race last year. So what is this race like behind the wheel? Because it feels like a chess match that we're watching play out of strategy and being out front, keeping track position. But what is it like for the driver?
Yeah, it's you're always fighting for track position, and certainly the crew chiefs have such a major role in that, and a lot of it starts with your starting spot as well. Here in this race we're looking at here, Brad, was running wherever he was running, pitted, caution came out, and then, we were sitting ducks there at the end of that race. So it's just, man, just all these combined just make you really upset that you never get it done. But, if we actually do one year, it'll just make me appreciate it a little bit more.
Is it hard to watch those highlights when you come so close like that, but you don't make it happen?
Yeah, I mean, I've given it my best effort. There's not a whole lot I would change in the races that I've had here. There's obviously a few things you tweak here and there, but I feel like I've given it my best effort. Just, things haven't always worked out.
I want to go back to last week real quick, and you not only had to race teammates once, but twice at the end of that race. Is the etiquette when you're racing for a win versus a teammate different than it would be if you're racing someone else from another camp?
I mean, you hope so, but it, certainly as a driver puts you in a more difficult spot, right? When you have to go see that person the next day in a meeting, you certainly think about it, and certainly you think about, well, what are the repercussions if we don't, if we take each other out and another team wins? You certainly then got to answer to the boss, not just the other person. So it puts your teammates in a tough spot when they're challenging for a win. But I think there's ways that you can do it without jeopardizing each other that also is maybe a little aggressive. So I think that everyone nowadays is aggressive for race wins. It's just it's a tough balance when you're teammates.
You and I chatted before the season started, and I think you would admit you were a little nervous coming into the year because, listen, you lost Chris Gabehart. You got Chris Gale. You didn't know what this team was going to be like. Are you, in a way, surprised at how well this team has reacted and the way Chris Gale kind of came in and kept going with what you and Chris Gabehart had built?
Yeah, and added to it. I'm going to give Chris his due in that, he was in a spot in his Cup career where he's really just worked with young drivers only. And certainly there's an element there where you got to be a crew chief and a mentor and a coach. And so he's never had the opportunity to just listen to the driver, trust the driver, go in that direction, and then see what happens, right? And so he's really got that opportunity now and feel like he's done a fantastic job with it. We had great conversations actually early in the year. I think it was a strategy call that he made, and I questioned him after the race.
You came back at him.
I said, I'm here to win. I don't want to run well. Like I'm here for wins, especially at this point in my career. And he's like, all right, going forward, we're going to be going for wins. And so it certainly paid off with his call last week, and really the whole team to give me an opportunity there to try to control that race.
All right, so as the metric goes, you would start first. Are you cool if it rains today and then rains tomorrow and rains out qualifying?
What do you think?
I think you would say yes. I think you would take that, because is there a track that's more important to start up front than Indianapolis?
I can't think of one offhand. No, this is a super important one, and certainly feel like, our simulation program's, pretty solid, and feel good about our baseline from last year. Where we tweak on that for this year, yeah, rain or shine, we're going to be happy either way.
I know his driving is good, Adam. I don't know how his rain dancing is, but I think the entire 11 camp's going to be doing a little dancing between now and tomorrow afternoon, and they would take the metric, believe me.
The metric wasn't great to him last week. He started 13th at Dover. It worked out okay, but the pole would be awesome here for the Brickyard 400. So we just had another hit of lightning within 8 miles of the track.
Keselowski has to pit for fuel, making Blaney the control car, but he fired a little late, Dale. I thought the 5 took advantage of it, and this restart was ended up with gave him the lead.
Yeah, the restarts, we saw a ton of wrecks and a ton of crashes, and that's kind of what I'll be curious of. This car changes over time as these teams figure it out. And how will the race car race this year compared to last year? Will we still see drivers like Larson get that opportunity down those long straightaways to make those late passes into the turns?
Practice in a weather delay. Let's hear from Kyle Larson. Back down to Marty.
Always the goal to kiss the bricks here at Indianapolis. Kyle Larson got to do that last year. Man, that was some Superman-looking stuff coming up through the field. How much of that was you on new tires, and how much of that was really the entire field you were catching trying to save fuel?
Yeah, I think it was kind of a lot of that. I think majority of it probably the large group in front of us saving fuel. It just kept the field kind of stacked up, and then with that there was some accordion and people were having to lift early into the corners, and I had the fuel on board and the tires to make those late moves, and I think being the first one to them also was important. So because it looked like it became tougher for like Reddick and Chase, right, who were in the same strategy behind us, but that was a lot of fun. I was not expecting that at all. Lining up there, I was like, all right, let's just try and make the most of this. Maybe somehow squeak a top 10 out of this. Top 15 would be great from where we were starting. So yeah, I had no thought of winning starting that run, but it was a lot of fun, and hopefully our HinderCars.com Chevy is just as good this year, and we can be on the right side of strategy again.
How surprised were you when Brad Keselowski pulled off the track there? I knew you knew he was tight on fuel. Well,
I mean, I chose behind him, hoping that he would run out, because just our radio communication, it sounded like they were really tight. So yeah, I chose behind him and hoped that he would run out, and it worked out. It was wild, it was crazy, and just everything that happened that last run, or the last 30 laps or whatever, like for us to come out the win like that, it was just meant to be that day. It was awesome. So definitely a race and a day I'll never forget, and getting to celebrate with the team on the Yard of Bricks, kissing them for the first time in my career was pretty special.
Let's talk about your May experiences here. Obviously, the last 2 Indianapolis 500s. Has that changed your appreciation for this place, and especially for the month of May and the Indianapolis 500, and maybe make you appreciate the Brickyard 400 a little more?
I would say no, it hasn't changed how I view this place, because I've always viewed it as being just an amazing facility, amazing history and all that. I obviously wish it would have gone better. I just made a lot of mistakes this May and crashed a few times and just put myself in bad positions, but I'll always be grateful of the chance to get to do the double, and you wish it would have gone better, but still a lot of fun and a lot of stress throughout those couple weeks, but I wouldn't trade it for anything.
Stressful enough to say, hey, I don't want to do that anymore? Is it officially over that you will not try a double anymore, Kyle?
At least on my radar now, I would say no. It's just logistically it's tough. I mean, I think the 2 years I've done it, I've had weather kind of get in the mix of it. Even this year, if I didn't crash out of the 500, I wouldn't have been able to finish it because of the rain delay we had. And there's just a lot of stuff and money and everything and time and resources that goes into doing the double and just attempting it financially. Millions of dollars. So it's just a big risk to do the double. I would love to do the Indy 500 again someday when I'm done full-time racing, just because I just don't. It doesn't sit well with me that I made 2 mistakes in both of the years I've done it and didn't get the finishes that I wanted. But still, even if I don't get to run the Indy 500, I'm grateful to have gotten to do it. So yeah, it was a fun experience, but we'll see what the future holds.
Is it as much as anything when you think about the double to say, hey, it takes away too much from the Cup program for me to do that, and puts us at too much risk?
I don't feel that way at all about the taking away from the Cup side. I feel like our team is very well oiled. Obviously, we've been off since the double attempt this year, but I just think that's circumstantial. Last year we refired hot again, so yeah, I don't know. I don't think it takes anything away. I mean, I race all the time, right, so I don't spend a whole lot of time prepping for NASCAR races in general, so it wasn't too different for me. But it was definitely still fun.
You mentioned being off since then. That kind of changed last week, though. Nice fourth-place finish for you at Dover. How needed was that for this race team, and how did that kind of change the psyche at the shop this week?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think it was needed, you know, to go to a track where we know that, or at least we're confident at.
Right.
You never know if you're going to be good going back to a place, but we're confident there. And just to have a clean race, really, from start to finish. It's been a long time since we've had that. You know, we executed well, and I felt like we had a car very well capable of winning had, you know, we gotten to qualify, or just, you know, small things kind of played out differently throughout the day. But yeah, it was good to get a top 5 there. And you know, one race doesn't change everything. I'm not expecting to come here and be, you know, lights out and the rest of the season's going to be great. But it was just good, I think, for our mentality and whatnot to get that good run in. And, you know, we'll just try and do the same thing this week.
All right, so as the defending winner of this race, are you cool if practice rains out? I mean, it kind of worked last week, no practice at Dover, and you finished top 5.
Yeah, I would love to go back to the COVID days of
no practice,
of just line up and race. I think, you know, selfishly, being with a team like Hendrick Motorsports, I feel like we prepare really well. So it would kind of fall into, you know, what we're good at, and I think it would lend itself to a guy like me who can adapt pretty quickly. But I don't know if I'll ever get back to those days. But I like rain. I like rain on Fridays and Saturdays, and then just line up Sunday and go.
All right, Adam, so Kyle mentions the rain, and guess what? He's getting his wish. It just started raining during our interview here at the Speedway, and we'll see if we can maybe get it dried up and get practice in today.
By the metric, he would start 3rd. That's better than the 25th from last week.
Yeah, much better. I will add all that double conversation. I think one thing that's been lost in this is the Indy 500 starts later than it ever has, and the 600 starts earlier. So I would love to encourage maybe the Indy 500 could get that noon green flag, and maybe the 600 could move back to that 6:30 green flag. That would buy a guy like Larson a couple hours in between to encourage. I love to see greatness on the racetrack, and we have someone as great as Kyle Larson willing to admit it, that the schedule is just too tight. Maybe we'll have an IndyCar guy want to come run the NASCAR race. So spread the 2 start times out a little bit.
It's such a great storyline in the motorsports world. We go to social media, and I would say that Mother Nature could be friendly this weekend to Kyle Larson. I think 3rd would be good if qualifying washed out tomorrow. So we talked about the buckets of storylines. We got the cut line and the bubble battle with 5 races to go to the playoffs, the magnitude of winning the Brickyard 400, and the in-season challenge. 2 drivers going for $1 million on Sunday.
going to fight the battle here.
Ty Dillon stays alive. It's unbelievable what this guy's been able to do.
To be a part of this run of fun for me, it means a lot. I don't want it to end.
Watch out for Ty Gibbs.
Those guys can outpace him.
I just feel like we should quote Bill Murray from Caddyshack, right? Because we've got rain. The heavy stuff is not going to come for quite some time. And Ty Dillon is, in fact, a true Cinderella story when you talk about the in-season bracket. He's been knocking them all off in the last few weeks, Dale.
Yeah, Hamlin, Keselowski, Bowman, some tough names.
Out. And the whole time, he hasn't shied away what this has meant for his team, which I love the fact that he's leaning in and said, hey, this is making our year. It's been fun to watch.
Ty Gibbs is the favorite this weekend, no question about that.
Yep.
But what I would say, Ty Dillon is a sleeper at Indy. Best cup track, probably the best oval. And then he also won an Xfinity race here. Now we go to the man that he faces, Ty Gibbs, who's, he's in a position to do something really special early in his career. Access every Cam all season long, only on HBO Max. Weather hold for Cup practice at Indy. right now, but we're in a weather delay. Started with a little lightning. We've had some rain, so we sit and we wait. Let's bring Mamba Smith into the conversation. Good afternoon, Mamba.
What's up, gentlemen? I just saw that nice picture of Victory Lane. Me and RB over here were just looking at that. Be a good place to park the 12 this weekend. What do you think?
Yeah, can't say I've ever been there. So I'd like to do it. Would like to have seen what we got in practice. Hopefully we get lucky and get going. But yeah, it's awesome to be up here. I mean, obviously, whenever we come to Indy, whenever I drive through the tunnel, I think you get like, just that special feeling. Seeing the museum right when you walk in, just being able to stand here on pit road. Heck, I'm standing on the yard of bricks. I don't know if this is allowed or not. But it's just cool to be up here, be at Boss's track, at Mr. Penske's track. It means a lot. So hopefully we get rolling, have a good weekend.
It always seems like Coke 600, you know, with all the things that are going on that weekend here and back home in Charlotte, big weekend for Penske. And then when we come here for the Cup race, big weekend for you guys. How is there a little added pressure to get this one done for RP?
Well, it's always circled on the calendar for sure. You know, for years and years, ever since I've been there, you knew what this place meant to Roger. And now, especially he is the track owner, it means even more, you know. So it's a big bucket list for us. It's a big bucket list for every team in this garage area, you know, just winning at Indianapolis, being able to kiss the bricks. And, like, that's a childhood dream of mine, is to do it with Roger. Like, that would be the coolest thing ever. So hopefully we can get it done. And, yeah, this is a special one, not only for him, but, you know, his whole family. This place got him into racing. You know, when he was a kid, his dad took him here, and it made him want to be a race car driver and end up owning cars and doing all this stuff. So we got to catch up to the IndyCar boys. They got a little bit more wins here than what we have, but hopefully we can get it done.
So here, this is a special weekend, as always, but we're wrapping up the first ever in-season challenge. Now, you know, Steve Letarte and the boys gave me a lot of crap for, you know, putting the 12 in my championship pick. Yeah. You know, it just worked out that way. I wasn't, you know, picking the homie just for fun. But when you look at that and all the fun everyone's been having, was it pretty fun to be a part of it for the first year?
I was a part of it for 50 laps at Atlanta, and then I've been able to be a spectator of it through the weeks, see who's going up against each other, seeing the battles. I think it's been great. I hope the fans have enjoyed it. Like I was saying when this, you know, was initially brought up, that our sport, you know, motorsports, it's not a 1v1 or a one team versus one team. It's a whole field, and whenever you can have like these head-to-head matchups, I think it just makes a little bit of a race in the race. So I don't know who is going to take home the money and the trophy, but I'm going to take Ty, and we'll see how that works out.
Seems like a good choice, right, guys? To take Ty, he can't really lose, right? Adam?
Gutsy move by Blaney to take Ty on Sunday.
It's calculated.
Hey, you know, Blaney's had a busy week. He was out in San Diego, and a part of the announcement that NASCAR made on Wednesday that they will go racing next year on Naval Base Coronado, which is just going to be remarkable. All three series are going to be there middle part of June. Steve, you and I actually went out and did a Navy embark in April, and we got wind of what could be coming then. But just to see how this has all come together and to have seen the landscape and know what it's going to mean organizationally for the sport, and another opportunity to work with our nation's great military is going to be something unbelievable.
So many great layers. We're going to head back to Southern California. A fan base that I think is excited to have a race there. I talked to Chase Briscoe, who went out there a couple weeks ago to shoot that content for NASCAR, and he couldn't say enough things. Like, he was over the top excited. You mentioned we were out there, and just the fact that it's going to be the 250th anniversary of the Navy. We're going to take NASCAR, which has proven between Mexico and Chicago and the Coliseum, right? They can take this event to the fan base, and now to do it on an active military base. And I asked a bunch of questions. I got to talk to Ben Kennedy some about this, and he wanted to make sure everybody's reminded, while there'll be a lot of celebration of the military, as this should be, totally open to the public. Tickets going to go on sale in the fall. I think it's going to be a ticket you're going to want to buy right away. I expect to sell out in a big crowd.
And it's not just any military base. I mean, Naval Base Coronado has got an unbelievable history and the things that have happened there. And I'll add this too. Coronado Island in San Diego is spectacular.
Not bad.
We hope everyone will join us next summer. It's going to be a big, big moment for NASCAR. And as Steve said, celebrating the 250th anniversary of the United States Navy. We were talking to Ryan Blaney, and we know how special Indianapolis Motor Speedway is to the captain Roger Penske. They've got their own gallery here in the museum, as they should. So much success, a lot of it IndyCar, but they've celebrated in stock cars here as well. They hope to do it again on Sunday in the Brickyard 400. We're in a weather delay. Thanks for being along for the ride on True TV.
I watch a lot of weather. I've never heard big
never
time.
heard
Guys, rated big time.
Well,
I've never heard that one.
I do NASCAR.
Okay,
and
I
I'm
was just
not
asking.
a meteorologist.
Yeah.
What would you say, Dale? Is that
I
a
think
fair way to
does.
describe
Yeah,
it?
hey, yeah, Rainbow Man. Are we going to get a rainbow today?
It makes it clear.
Well,
It makes it very clear. I see some blue sky over here, Steve.
Oh, rainbow.
it only took us 41 minutes to rewind to the rainbow.
I knew rainbow was coming.
I had no idea that Dale Jr. was a scientist. Hall of Famer, yes. Scientist. I did not know that.
Just a possessor of common sense. Really, that's all.
That is a tremendous comeback.
Possessor of, that's a good business card.
Yeah, that should be on your hero card. Possessor of common sense. There's the radar. It doesn't look great. So let's revisit some of the firsts that have happened here in the Brickyard 400. 1994, Jeff Gordon. Pittsburgh, Indiana, won the inaugural race. What a moment it was. Second win of his career. And then Dale Jarrett kissing the bricks. What a great tradition we started here.
Yeah, Dale Jarrett had a lot of huge moments in his career. He ranks this one right up the list. Then Tony Stewart, 2005, climbing the fence. Started a tradition of his own.
Then AJ, we decided to go the other direction, head to the road course, and why not? You know, one of the best known road course ringers, road course aces, and he got it done at the first road course running. And then, according to Adam, quote, big time rain falling on the yard of bricks at the moment.
That makes it clear. And no you're going to understand we got some serious rain here.
I mean, you're talking about being a possessor of common sense. If I say big time rain, you should know exactly what I'm talking about.
It paints a picture. Think about most wins. JG's got 5, Jimmy with 4. I mean, it's quite a list to be on.
So Tony Stewart's there with 2, and you saw in the clip he won for the first time in the Brickyard 20 years ago, back in 2005. Which takes me to this weekend in Chase Briscoe and the opportunity that lies in front of him. 3 drivers from Indiana have won this race. Gordon, Stewart, Ryan Newman did it as well. And I look at Briscoe over at Joe Gibbs Racing. His hero was Tony Stewart. It's 20 years later. They've been running well lately. A whole lot of storylines aligning for the driver from Mitchell, Indiana.
Well, he said it, in the sound when we first came on air, that there's no race he would want to win more than this one. And I appreciate the honesty. I think that's hard for a guy to say with the Daytona 500. But knowing what this track means to him, and a hometown guy or a home state guy, he was able to do it on the road course. He told us, he goes, I love the road course when I was in that SHR equipment, but now I'm in Gibbs equipment. I'm pretty excited to be at the Oval. I'm not lying. He's going to feel like he has a good car, and I think he's right.
Well, during a part of the season that's been a meat grinder for some of the best in the series, he has 3 finishes of 2nd or better in the last 5. That is remarkable. It's so hard to do at any point in the year to be that consistent with the parity that we see in the next-gen car, but much less in that tough stretch of the season where there's such a clunky schedule. It feels like they are on their path towards something great this year, whether it be winning this weekend here or some big run in the playoffs. He feels like he is on this trajectory that is unique to the rest of the field, in my opinion. How that team has gotten better and how he's developed and learned how to really take this car and do things it needs to do to be able to get not only the performance in qualifying, but go out there and get the results in the race. It's all starting to come together, it seems like, for Briscoe.
You talk about the top 2s. He won at Pocono, 2nd to SVG at Sonoma, and 2nd last week to Denny Hamlin. If you're going to be a runner-up at those tracks to a driver, I mean, that's not a bad place to finish 2nd.
Yeah, we just relived this with him in the garage earlier today, and he said, man, when I was door-to-door going into 1 on the restart, I thought I had a chance. Ran 1 and 2 wide open, if you can believe it. Thought he was in position, but it was right there exiting 4. He goes, it didn't look bad on TV, but there was a moment where I understood exactly what happened to Christopher Bell, because I thought I was wrecking underneath the 11, and Denny closed out the deal. But Sonoma, Dover, not kind of highlighted for him, not tracks he was expecting to be great at, and I think that's when a driver turns the corner, when no track is off the list, when you can kind of go anywhere, and in the right circumstance.
You look in recent years, the 19 team with Martin Truex Jr. behind the wheel, they've been outstanding. And this was really, I won't say it's the first time this year, but you started to see those 2 worlds collide. Chase Briscoe as a driver, the 19 team is a group, and that they were able to put together good performances. And with that, you just kind of anticipate, as we said, this weekend could be good to them. And the other thing I would say, winning at Pocono. And if there's a track on the schedule that Indianapolis compares to, it's Pocono. And there's just another
track position, but they were so short on fuel because of a little miscommunication. And I thought, man, this is where it's going to come apart, and they're going to have to, continue to work on the relationship. But instead, they took that challenge, James Small as crew chief and Chase. They communicated their work, and then Chase masterfully held the lead while saving a tremendous amount of gas. And I just really think that same challenge could be put ahead of you here in Indianapolis. We just didn't know that 19 could manage the way he did this day at Pocono.
Well, if you look at the metrics in the next-gen car at comparable racetracks, and then 2025, he's made massive gains in speed, long-run speed, passing, defense. He's always been great on restarts. I think the one thing that may be their weak point could be the pit crew. And we know, Steve, that the pit crew will be essential this weekend. Strategy, fuel mileage, all those things, and how much time you're on pit road will play a massive role in who's in position late in the race.
It's going to be complicated, and you're just not going to have a lot of opportunity to recover. Everybody knows. You heard Denny Hamlin just say that there's probably not another race that the pole position would be more valuable. So he's thinking with 160 laps ahead of him. So if you trip up on pit road at lap 40 or 60 or 80 halfway through this race, circumstances might come your way, but most of the time, that's it. that was your chance at the Brickyard. You had a mistake. You had an issue. You're going to have to come back again next year and try it again. And I think that puts a lot of pressure, unlike maybe the Southern 500 where you may get 13 pit stops and you can kind of rally back from it. It's not that way here. I imagine the winner here is going to start. You could do it probably on 4. The strategy I look like says 5 pit stops is going to be the way to consume this race.
And if it's anything like last year, too, you're going to have those guys that are back in the pack that are going to try to do something wild on fuel, right?
Yep.
And just take a lot of track position late and put you in a tough spot. Even if you dominate the race, you're going to be behind some people that are taking some major gambles on fuel late.
I ask a lot of crew chiefs in the garage today, what's longer, your to-do list in practice, because before the weather, we thought they had 50 minutes and 3 sets of tires, or your call sheet for Sunday, because as you said, Steve, the strategy here can be all over the board, and you can have a great game plan, and then the cautions come, and you have to react, and it's who does it best. Who hits the curveball best sometimes is the one who wins.
Be warned. If that call sheet has some code words and you mess one up, I'm going on blast. I'm going to let y'all know that it's your own fault.
Let it rip.
Let it happen. Listen, let's keep it simple, folks.
Steve does not like code.
Man, they frustrate me.
He doesn't. I always hated to hear, I need you to save fuel. And Steve just doesn't like code words.
That's right. We have our things.
Yeah.
I loved last year that Cliff Daniels said to Kyle Larson, I need you to save fuel while passing those guys in front of you. Those are two worlds that really never collide. But evidently they figured it out because Larson passed everyone he needed to, and he won the race.
Clear direction. You go, oh, that's all you had to tell me. I got it.
Our code word today has been rain. Lightning and rain, maybe we'll share, because it's not been a good afternoon as far as Mother Nature is concerned here in central Indiana. Our coverage continues from Indianapolis Motor Speedway next. lightning, and we have canceled track activity for today. So we'll reload and hopefully get cars on track here tomorrow before Sunday's Brickyard 400.
Yeah, I guess the question now is, does everybody want to know what NASCAR wants to do? Do we try to figure out how to get a little practice? Do we qualify? What's the plan? NASCAR will let us know. But the drivers, you know, we've heard some of them say, look, I'm good to load them up and race right now. I don't need any practice or anything. Some of the better teams would probably agree with that because of the resources and whatnot. There's some teams out there, though, that would love a lap or two just to kind of get the travels and everything where they want. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, it wouldn't shock me. We get a little adjustment to the schedule, maybe a little short practice. We'll see if they prioritize qualifying. I have an idea for some rain fill.
Yes.
Go over here and check out the museum. I haven't seen it since the remodel. It looks pretty impressive from all these shots. I'm going to have to go check it out. It's beautiful.
Great way to spend a rainy Friday afternoon at the racetrack. So we said it, no track activity for the Cup cars today. We'll reset, do it tomorrow. And our coverage begins on True TV at 2:30 Eastern Time. It's all a setup to Sunday's 29th running